Most diplomacy games don't go past 1920. At least mine don't. But when I see one in 1923 with 6 nations still alive, I know we've got an anomaly, or at least a DIPLOMYSTERY. This is Legendary Tactics. So if you take a look through Backstabber and scroll through the games, you'll see, well, here's the one I'm interested in, the one with Apple Pie 1932. You'll see most of them don't go past 1920. At the most, I mean, you get some 1915, 1916. So what I'm going to do in this game is show you by putting the flags close to each other or farther apart. If they're on the left side or the right side, then you'll know they're enemies. And when they're grouped closely together, they're allies. So the game started with Italy and Austria together, and basically everybody else apart here. So it shifted, so we began to get Russia joining Turkey. Austria is off by himself, poor fella, and then we've got a triple entente on the left here with Italy, France, and England. So a fairly typical opening. What's unique about this game, though, is how long these powers managed to stay alive. Germany's not doing so well here. He's getting a bit crushed out, but he's with Russia and Turkey at this point. But we've got a strong grouping on the left here. So Britain's starting to look as if he's helping Russia there. I don't think he actually is. That was, I think, a bit of a bluff. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I want to show the flags what the player is actually doing without getting distracted by the press. I think press can sometimes be misleading. In a previous video, I talked about press being 50% of the game. But in this video, I want to focus exclusively on what you see on the board. So you can see here that most of the world is now aligned. Germany has no idea which way to go. They're shifting back and forth here. But you've got Russia and Turkey working together. And this is how the game tends to flow. That's the end of Germany. So that actually ended very, very quickly for Germany because they never really got on side with anybody. But right away, France here has a stunning lead, which has basically grouped everybody else in the world against them. But watch what happens, because whenever one power begins to get dominant, diplomacy has a beautiful built-in balance system where the other countries group together and push them back. So that forced France in this case to then at least work towards getting Austria and Italy on side. It's not really working at this stage, so he's trying his best, but you can see he's pinched rather thin across there. And we've got a good grouping on the right, except England just broke off from Russia. Russia is now attacking England. And so we've got 3 nations on their own, and then we've got 3 nations working together. You can see France basically got obliviated there, so just knocked right back. And so he was forced to group into an alliance. So now we've got England is off by himself. And in this game, you'll find him by himself quite frequently. But Italy and Austria are working well together, and Austria needs a good ally, so smart of him to work together there, and they're starting to push back Russia now. France is a little bit back and forth, mostly on his own. He's doing well positionally. He's doing okay, and he's joined with Italy there, so that he can hold against England. I think Italy's smart, knowing that if England flanks around, then he's going to be in trouble. But England has penetrated really deep into German territory, which actually leaves him fairly vulnerable because he can be completely surrounded and attacked, and he's still playing by himself there. So France is beginning to nuzzle a little bit closer to England. Nothing concrete there yet, but you can see basically, again, we're split halvesies, and this is the beautiful balance of this game, and why I absolutely love this game, because as soon as somebody starts to run away with the game, then it forces everybody else to come together. So we're moving along here. You can see that England is doing quite well, Turkey not so much, and we're in spring of 1914, so this is when a lot of action usually happens, and there's, I mean, red arrows everywhere on the board, so people aren't getting the moves in that they want to get in there. What's interesting here is that France made it over to the island, and usually once France can break in and take hold on the island, especially when they control the North Sea, then usually England is done. But this England is not ready to give up. He's got a lot of territory. He's cut off from his own homeland, and he's still fighting. But and funny enough, he's actually doing it by himself. So Russia's working alone. France is alone. Italy's creeping a little closer. He seems to be helping France, but France is looking to finish England, and but England is playing a savvy defense here. So France will have to do better than that if he wants to break him. This is part of the reason that this game is going on so long. It's not that these players are terrible and they don't know how to play. It's that they're blocking each other and they're playing defensively and they're shifting their alliances when they need to. There's a lot of fluid shifts between them. So England here is really, he's falling back. He's leaving his territory wide open in Germany there, but he's had enough with France coming back. So France is spread. So this is an interesting moment for Austria. He's in good shape at this point, but this is where he really falls apart. Turkey breaks in, Italy breaks in, and where I put the circle there was just the beginning of the end for Austria, because Russia's not helping him, and he thinks he's an ally with Turkey, but it's just it's always unwise to be completely surrounded by enemies without any of them really beholden to you. So England is flipping back and forth a little bit here. This is a nice double bounce move. If you don't know how to do this yet, you should figure it out. It's a little odd that he did that when France owns Norway, but I think he's probably trying to establish some trust with France there. But the double bounce is a great way that you can use two pieces to block three squares so that people can't take it. You purposely bounce yourself back, and it protects the square in case somebody else tries to take it. I actually use that method quite a bit when I'm trying to determine if someone is an ally or not. If they say they're not going to take it, I go for the double bounce, and if they do, then I know that I can't trust them, and so it's a great way without losing anything. So England has completely reclaimed his territory. Austria is done for. So this is 1923. That's how long this took to get out here. So check out Turkey here. You can see him after Austria's done. He's completely shifting towards Russia. And he's baiting Russia here. He's pretending that he's his ally. He's supporting him. But whenever you move armies that much into that position with Russia leaving Seb open, that's always a bad call, because Turkey's really just encircling all of Russia here. So you need to trust people sometimes, but it seems pretty transparent from these moves that, there it is. Turkey was setting up for Romania to take Sev, and he's not helping Russia any here at all. So England's still fighting by himself. France has been whittled back, so he lost some key battleground states there, and Turkey and Italy are working well together here. So this is an alliance that is controlling the bottom half of the map, while meanwhile England and France are squabbling in the north. So, but you can see what England is doing. He's completely wiping out. So Russia's done, and without a Russian fleet up there, now France is the only hope of controlling that. So there's the double bounce again. You can see that England and France are edging together, but with that double bounce, that's France not sure if England is going to try to sneak in and get into the back 50 there. And England seems to be staying true to his word, but if you look across the top, he's drawing a line. He totally controls the seas. It's going to be hard for anybody to break through there. And France, I think, is starting to realize a little too late that Mao is going to be super important for his chances of winning here. So England now by himself. Turkey's got 12 centers. England's got 11, but Turkey is looking like a bit of an ally here. So you can see that England is doing the double bounce once again there in order to protect any kind of incursion in the north. So this is a strategy I love. Take England and then control everything up north. And there's nothing land-based armies can do to break through then. So he's in a pretty good position. But Turkey has completely spread. If he can't keep Italy on side, though, that can be a problem. And as you can see, Italy has now got designs on knocking Turkey back a peg, because Turkey's at 12. So the back and forth flow once again, but England is merciless in his attack on France. France is now using the double bump to protect Paris. Italy took a bit of a hit there, so he's wisely joining with France. And this is a key play for England. If he can, so he's powering his way. He set this up so he could power into Mao. And once you've broken in there, France is really in trouble because there's not much you can do to stop an incursion by England, who controls the entire north, and Mao. And again, here's another key play. No one really protects Nap down there, so the West, it would have been pretty brazen to protect that. So by slipping in there, England has now come around the Horn, gotten through Gibraltar, and he's able to encircle France. So France is not in great shape here. Turkey looking very strong at 15. He's poised and ready to win this game, and seems to be working with Italy here in some places and in others not. So Turkey is basically pushing for the win here. What's interesting is that back in 1913, Turkey only had 3 centers, so this is a really great example of how you can come back from the brink. And what I noticed with Turkey is that he's paired with his neighbors throughout most of the game. If you go back and look at the video, you'll see that he's very often flexible, and he's allies with Austria, Russia, Italy, France, and he's never really antagonized England. So part of the reason that he's done so well is that it took these guys until 1929 before they realized that he was taking control of the board. He was friends with everybody, and suddenly he's in charge. So this Diplo mystery comes down to players who don't hold grudges, they flex and they shift with the game, and they don't overcommit, and they keep their lines intact so that people can't get behind them. So this is just a quick reminder also that everybody at Legendary Tactics, except for me, is a backstabbing lily-livered jellyfish. But that is the end of Britain, Italy, and France. Turkey, I didn't catch the last move of the game. It disappeared before I could, but presumably he took the last 2 centers he needed to win there. And I would guess that Italy joined forces with him just to finish the game, because really this game lasted until 1934, which is the longest game that I've seen played. So if you like this kind of analysis, if this interests you like it interests me, then I'd appreciate a subscription and a like, and also thank you for your time.